One of the odd things about Halting State, which is a novel about crime and other related issues in the future of online games, online massively multiplayer games, is I wrote it in what's called the second person present tense, meaning I am speaking to you. You're in a maze of twisty little passages all alike. I did it like that, and it's not a usual voice for writing a novel in, because it is the natural voice for a narrative computer adventure game. All the way back to the great Colossal Cave adventure of the early 1970s, which really kicked off the genre of gaming as narrative. There's been this use of the second person because it is the computer that is telling the story. It is talking to you, sitting in front of the console. And it's odd, but while it's not a narrative form you often find in fiction, it can actually get you very effectively into a situation. All you have to do is listen. For example, you're sitting half asleep listening to me now, but you're sitting in an armchair. Your eyes are closed and you feel very unsteady. Your head's full of a post-viral haze, the cotton wool of slowed reflexes and dulled awareness. In stark contrast to the normal state of affairs, you can hear yourself think. There's just one little voice wobbling incessantly about from side to side of your cranial prison, which is no surprise after the amount of skunk you just smoked. In the distance, the chiming clamour of tram bells sets a glorious harmony reverberating in icy splendour across the rooftops. And you're asking yourself, like the witchy weird voice in a video of an old Laurie Anderson performance, what am I doing here? Let's restart. There's a ringing in your ears. Oops, you must have drifted off. That's the trouble with smoking hash to help yourselves forget. Yourselves? Well, yeah, you didn't come here alone. There's you, and there's Mitch, and there's Budgie. Tom couldn't come because he was busy being newly married and responsible. But between you and Mitch and Budgie, you're three of the four pillars of the former social networking architecture team. And you've flown out here on a budget shuttle from Turnhouse to get falling down legless and scientifically test all that research about whether cannabis destroys short-term memory. Because, God help you, it's better than remembering how badly you've been shafted. Which is how come you're sitting in a half-collapsed armchair, stoned out of your box, on the narrow strip of flat-stoned pavement alongside the Prinsengracht Canal in Amsterdam, listening to alarm bells. And contemplating the wreckage of your career after 4 years in the elite dirty trickster of Lupisoft, working on special projects for nobbling your corporate master's rivals, and then a transfer to the relatively clean gameplay side of steaming. You spent 4 years on top-secret death marches and psychotic deadline chases in beige-walled cubicle hell. Frenzied developer boot camps held in sinister, wire-fenced floodlit compounds in the Grampians. Weekends spent following a team of home and away matches with a laser rangefinder and a dynamics package. And wasn't it fun trying to avoid the big Ned from Portobello who got it into his head that you were some kind of headhunter from down south who's going to get his side and kept trying to get his posse to stomp your head in? And all the while, you were living off peanut butter sandwiches and stale sushi takeaways, while your waistline expanded and your visual range contracts as you stare at a screen the size of a secondary school whiteboard all day long and half of the night. Then there were the dying weekends. Weekends stolen from company management by sheer bloody-minded smackdowns with human resources, so you could go back to Rochdale to spend some time with your ma, who was in a bad way from the lung cancer, or visit Sophie and Bill and the nieces. Until one day ma wasn't there anymore, and then there's the rest of it, and that's you in that corner there, you with your €60,000 salary, and the legacy that went part way to a pokey wee place in the colonies, and a mortgage you won't pay off before you retire. And no fucking life whatsoever. Well, there's your knitting habit and your criminal record, but that's just fodder for your obsessive-compulsive disorder. This is your life. It's been your life since you clawed your way up from computer science graduate to startup 7 years ago. And your so-called life is such a bourgeois piece of shit that there's no room for anything but work in it. So you've been keeping yourself too busy to care until last week. They cancelled steaming and told you to clear your desk at half an hour's notice. Here's your next month's pay in lieu. Now get out of here, you freak. And you suddenly realise that you haven't got a life. Even though they made you learn more about Scottish Premier League football than the captain of a national squad, the bastards. Excuse me, you cannot be sleeping here. Let's restart. The worst thing about it all is that you hate football. Of course, to have admitted you hated football while you were working on steaming would have been a bit like one of the US president's staffers confessing to thinking religion was overrated, abstinence didn't work, and what the country really needed was a short, sharp dose of communism with a side order of Islamic extremism to go. It's one of those things that you just couldn't talk about at Ubisoft, not when they had the exclusive rights to the franchises of both Hibs and Rangers, and were trying to figure out how to milk all the surplus income out of the assorted Bampots, Neds and never-do-wells, who figured that a live-action role-playing game where you get to play at football hooligans among consenting adults was better than the other kind of live-action role-playing, in which you played at football hooligans with non-consenting adults, while the combined manpower of Lothian and Border's finest and the Rocksteady crew played Colliver Raj back at you with CS gas and tasers. Anyway, there was an upside to this. You were able to suppress or sublimate your hatred of football without too much difficulty while you were working on steaming. Because you're a bourgeois liberalki who thinks team player is a term of abuse, but you believe in society. You believe in checks and balances. And above all, you believe in getting your life back on the thick-headed sports jocks who made life so excitingly unpleasant for you at school. And as it happens, steaming allowed you to convince yourself that you were doing your bit, because any job that gets the wrangling folks playing a game on their mobile phones instead of lobbing tinnies and chipping bystanders has got to be a good thing.